Welcome to ZenLight8. Have you ever wondered why some people seem stuck in life, repeating the same mistakes over and over, while others grow wiser with every step? Today, we're diving into the 6 signs of a stupid person through the lens of modern Stoicism. Because real wisdom isn't just about what you know, it's about how you live. Stick around, because this isn't about pointing fingers. It's about unlocking powerful lessons to transform your life. Ready to level up your mind and soul? Let's jump in. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, shimmering ocean, waves crashing with endless possibilities, whispering secrets of growth and transformation. Now picture turning your back on it, building a wall of stone around yourself, brick by brick, until all you can see is the dim, familiar shadow of your own certainty. That's what a closed mind feels like. A self-imposed fortress that promises safety but delivers stagnation. In my years of walking this earth, observing the dance of human souls around me, I've come to see that wisdom isn't a trophy you win or a book you memorize. It's a living, breathing thing, born from how you embrace the world, how you stretch beyond the edges of what you think you know. And yet, there's a quiet tragedy in those who choose to lock their minds shut, refusing the very air that could lift them higher. Today, let's step into the first sign of a foolish heart, a closed mind, and uncover the profound lessons it holds, not to judge, but to awaken something brighter within ourselves. A closed mind isn't just a preference for the familiar. It's a fortress of ignorance, meticulously constructed over time. Each brick is laid with fear, the fear of being wrong, of losing control, of facing the vast unknown that lies beyond our current understanding. It's a shield that feels sturdy, even noble in the moment. I know what I know, it declares, chin held high, as if certainty were the ultimate virtue. But beneath that surface confidence lies something fragile, something that trembles at the thought of change. These individuals don't just resist new ideas. They reject them outright, as if a different perspective were an enemy at the gates. They cling to their narrow slice of the world, mistaking it for the whole picture, and in doing so, they blind themselves to the endless horizons of growth waiting just beyond their walls. Think about the last time you met someone like this, someone so rooted in their beliefs that no amount of evidence or kindness could sway them. Maybe it was a friend who dismissed your dreams because they didn't fit his blueprint of success, or a coworker who shot down every suggestion with a smug, "That's not how we do it here." It's frustrating, isn't it? But here's the deeper truth. That frustration isn't just about them. It's a mirror, reflecting back a question for us all. Have we ever built our own walls, however small? Have we ever clung to an idea so tightly that we stopped listening, stopped growing? Recognizing a closed mind isn't about pointing fingers. It's about holding up a lantern to our own souls, asking where we might be holding ourselves back. Stoicism, that timeless well of wisdom, offers us a lifeline here. It doesn't demand that we're always right. It invites us to be willing to be wrong. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic voices, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." It's a simple line, but it cuts straight to the heart of what a closed mind misses. The power of openness. To the Stoics, true strength isn't in defending a crumbling castle of beliefs. It's in stepping outside, bare and curious, ready to learn from the wind, the stars, the voices of others. A closed mind sees change as a threat. Stoicism sees it as a teacher. And in today's world, where every day brings new challenges, new technologies, new ways of thinking, that openness isn't just wise, it's essential. Picture a woman named Sarah, a small-town librarian I once knew. She'd spent decades curating her collection, proud of the order she'd created. When digital books started creeping in, she didn't just resist. She fought tooth and nail, insisting that real books were the only way. Her library became a time capsule, beautiful but frozen, while the world outside moved on. Patrons dwindled, and Sarah grew bitter, blaming kids these days for not appreciating her vision. But one day, a young volunteer, a quiet girl with a spark in her eyes, gently showed Sarah how ebooks could reach people who couldn't visit, like the elderly or homebound. It wasn't easy, but Sarah took a breath, set aside her pride, and listened. Slowly, she learned. The library didn't just survive. It thrived, blending old and new in a way that honored her past while embracing the future. That shift didn't happen because Sarah was forced. It happened because she chose to lower her walls, to let the light of possibility seep in. That's the magic of an open mind. It doesn't erase what you know. It expands it. A closed mind says, "I've arrived." An open mind whispers, "I'm just beginning." And isn't that a beautiful place to be? To wake. Imagine standing in the wreckage of a moment gone wrong. Shattered plans scattered like glass at your feet. The sting of failure sharp in the air. Now picture two paths stretching out before you. One leads inward, where a quiet voice asks, "What could I have done differently?" The other points outward, fingers jabbing at the world, shouting, "This isn't my fault. It's them." Too often, we choose that second path, piling blame on others like sandbags against a flood we can't face. In my years of watching life unfold, its triumphs, its stumbles, I've seen how this habit of constant blaming chains us to our smallest selves, keeping us from the freedom that comes with owning our story. As we journey through the signs of a foolish heart, let's step into the second one now. Constant blaming is a trap that feels like an escape, but it's really a cage. And the key to breaking free lies closer than you think. A person who blames endlessly doesn't just dodge responsibility, they build a life around it. When something goes wrong, their instinct isn't to pause and reflect. It's to point. The boss was unfair. The weather ruined everything. The team didn't pull their weight. It's a reflex, quick and slick, born from a need to shield themselves from the raw discomfort of being human. And who hasn't felt that pull? It's easier to toss the weight of a mistake onto someone else's shoulders than to carry it yourself, even for a moment. But here's the catch. That weight doesn't disappear, it festers. Blaming others might buy a fleeting sense of relief, but it solves nothing. Instead, it locks you in a cycle of denial, where growth can't take root and the same missteps repeat like a broken record. Think about the people you've known who live this way. Maybe it's a friend who can't hold a job, always swearing it's the manager's fault, never their own late arrivals. Or a family member who spins every argument into a tale of how you provoked them, blind to their own sharp words. It's exhausting to watch, isn't it? You see the pattern they can't. The way they stumble over the same stone, trip after trip, because they won't look down and lift it themselves. But let's not stop at observation. Let's turn that lens inward. Have you ever caught yourself weaving a story where the fault is always someone else's? I have. There was a time I flunked a big project and spent days convincing myself the client's vague brief was to blame. Felt good until it didn't. The truth crept in. I could have asked more questions, pushed harder, owned my part. That sting of realization is not punishment. It's the first breath of freedom. Stoicism steps in here with a gentle but firm hand. It doesn't shame us for our missteps. It shows us a better way. The Stoics believed we're not victims of the world but architects of our response to it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Constant blaming is the opposite. It hands that power away, leaving us at the mercy of everything but ourselves. Wisdom, though, begins when we take it back. Admitting our role isn't about wallowing in guilt. It's about stepping into agency. It's saying, "Yes, this happened, and here's how I can grow from it." That shift doesn't just heal us. It ripples outward, building trust with those around us. Consider Jake, a guy I once worked with at a bustling coffee shop. One hectic morning, a huge order got botched. Drinks spilled, customers fumed. Jake could have blamed the new barista, the faulty machine, the chaos of the rush. Most would have. Instead, he took a deep breath, looked at me and said, "I should have double-checked the tickets. My bad." Then he jumped in to fix it, apologizing to the customers, remaking the drinks, rallying us all. No excuses, just action. The result? The team didn't just respect him, they followed him. Customers came back, charmed by his honesty. Jake didn't shrink under the mistake. He grew through it. That's the alchemy of responsibility. It turns messes into moments of strength. Contrast that with the fallout of constant blaming. Relationships crack under its weight. When you're always the victim, others become the villains. Friends tire of defending themselves. Coworkers drift away. Trust erodes. Who wants to lean on someone who won't stand up for their own actions? But when you own your part, even the messy bits, people see you differently. They see someone real, someone brave, someone they can count on. That's the Stoic secret. Accountability isn't a burden. It's a bridge. Connects you to others, to growth, to a life that feels solid and true. So, where are you on this path? Next time life hands you a stumble, pause. Resist the urge to point outward. Ask yourself, what's my piece in this? It's not about beating yourself up. It's about building yourself up. Maybe you snapped at someone because you were stressed. Own it, apologize, learn. Maybe you missed a deadline because you overpromised. Admit it, adjust, improve. These aren't failures, they're stepping stones. The moment you stop blaming, you start growing. And that's a gift you give not just to yourself, but to everyone who crosses your path. Now let's climb higher, because the air of wisdom shifts again as we approach the third sign. Arrogance. If constant blaming keeps us chained to excuses, arrogance blinds us with a crown we don't deserve. It's a tricky beast, this one. Dressed up as confidence, strutting bold and loud, but rooted in something far shakier. Arrogance isn't just thinking you're great. It's believing you're above the need to learn, to bend, to hear. It's a wall, not of fear this time, but of pride, that traps you in a kingdom of one, where growth withers and connection fades. At first glance, arrogance looks like strength. The guy who dominates every meeting with his brilliant ideas. The woman who smirks at your opinion like it's beneath her. They seem untouchable, don't they? But peel back the shine, and you'll find something brittle. Arrogance isn't born from security. It's a mask for insecurity, a desperate bid to prove worth by shouting over everyone else. These folks don't just dismiss others, they need to, because listening might crack their fragile throne. And so, they stay stuck, perched atop a shrinking hill, while the world moves forward without them. I've seen it play out too many times. There was a colleague, Tom, who had all the answers, or so he thought. Every brainstorming session, he'd steamroll us, scoffing at suggestions, convinced his way was the only way. We'd warn him about risks, he'd wave us off. One day, his perfect plan tanked. A deadline missed, a client lost. He could have learned from it, but instead, he doubled down, blaming us for not getting his vision. Tom didn't just lose the project, he lost us. Arrogance didn't make him a leader. It made him alone. Stoicism offers a softer path. Humility. Not the kind that shrinks you, but the kind that expands you. It's the courage to say, I don't know everything, and that's okay. Epictetus nailed it. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Arrogance shuts the door on that learning. Humility flings it wide open. It's not weakness, it's power. The kind that lets you grow beyond your edges. Think of the wisest people you know. They're not the loudest in the room. They're the ones listening, asking, soaking in what others bring. That's the strength arrogance can't touch. Picture Emily, a young entrepreneur I met at a workshop. She'd built a small business from scratch, and success had her glowing. But when a mentor suggested a tweak to her strategy, she didn't bristle or boast. She leaned in, curious, and said, "Tell me more." That openness didn't dim her shine. It polished it. Her company doubled in a year, not because she knew it all, but because she was willing to learn from those who did. Arrogance would have kept her small. Humility made her soar. So where do you stand? Do you ever catch yourself talking over someone too proud to pause? It's human, we all slip there sometimes. But the shift is simple. Listen more, assume less. Let others surprise you. Their ideas, their stories, they're not threats. They're treasures. When you trade arrogance for openness, you don't just grow, you connect. You become the friend people trust, the leader people follow, the soul people remember. As we step back from the mirror of arrogance, two more shadows flicker ahead, traits that cut deeper still. Next time, we'll unravel the chill of a heart without empathy and the paralysis of fearing change, peeling back layers to find the light beneath. Picture yourself sitting across from someone you love, a friend, a partner, a child, their eyes brimming with a story they're aching to share. You see the flicker of joy or the shadow of pain, but instead of leaning in, you glance away, unmoved, untouched. The moment slips by, and a quiet wall rises where a bridge could have been. That's the chill of a life without empathy. A world where connections stay shallow and the heart grows cold. As we walk deeper into the signs of a foolish soul, we've already faced the walls of a closed mind, the chains of blame, the brittle crown of arrogance. Now, let's linger on the fourth sign, a lack of empathy. It's a silent thief, stealing richness from our days. But the good news? We can reclaim it, and in doing so, light up our lives and the lives of those around us. A lack of empathy isn't loud or brash. It's subtle, a quiet refusal to step into someone else's shoes. It's the person who hears your struggle and shrugs, "Well, that's your problem," or the one who steamrolls your excitement with their own agenda. They're not cruel, not always, just disconnected. They can't or won't feel the weight of your tears, the lift of your laughter. And without that bridge, relationships turn into transactions. Flat, fleeting, forgettable. I've seen it too often. A coworker brushing off a teammate's burnout with a curt, "Just deal with it." A parent missing the tremble in their kid's voice because they're too busy to care. It's not malice. It's blindness. But that blindness builds walls, and over time, those walls leave you standing alone. Think about the last time someone truly got you. When they didn't just hear your words but felt them, mirrored them back with a nod, a touch. I've been there too. It's electric, isn't it? That's empathy. The thread that stitches us to each other, turning strangers into confidants, moments into memories. Without it, life gets lonely, even in a crowd. The person lacking empathy doesn't just miss out on others' stories. They miss out on their own depth. Because here's the secret. Understanding someone else doesn't just enrich them. It transforms you. It's a mirror that shows you your own humanity, a lens that widens your world. Stoicism, with its steady gaze, doesn't let us off the hook here. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Empathy is part of that quality. It's not a soft extra, but a cornerstone of wisdom. To the Stoics, living well isn't just about controlling your own mind. It's about connecting with the shared pulse of humanity. A lack of empathy cuts that cord, leaving you adrift. But when you cultivate it, you build something lasting: trust, love, a sense of belonging. I think of Lisa, a nurse I knew in a busy hospital. She could have rushed through her rounds, checking boxes, moving on. Instead, she'd sit with patients, even for a minute, listening to their fears, holding their hands. One day, an old man whispered, "You're the first person who's seen me today." Lisa didn't just heal bodies. She healed souls. That's empathy's power. It turns the ordinary into the sacred. Now imagine the flip side. Without empathy, misunderstandings pile up like storm debris. A careless word lands like a blow because the speaker can't feel its sting. Resentment festers, bonds fray, and soon, isolation creeps in. But it doesn't have to be that way. Empathy isn't a gift you're born with. It's a muscle you build. Start small. Listen without judging. Ask how someone feels. Picture their world. I tried this once with a friend who'd snapped at me. Instead of firing back, I asked, "What's going on with you?" His anger melted into a story of stress I'd never guessed. That moment didn't just save our friendship. It deepened it. Empathy doesn't erase conflict. It turns it into connection. So where do you stand? Do you ever catch yourself tuning out, too wrapped up in your own head to feel someone else's heart? We all drift there sometimes, but the shift is within reach. Next time someone shares a piece of themselves, pause. Really see them. Let their joy lift you. Their pain soften you. It's not about fixing their problems. It's about meeting them where they are. That's the Stoic secret. Empathy isn't weakness. It's strength. It's the courage to feel, the wisdom to connect, the spark that makes life rich. When you embrace it, you don't just grow, you glow, lighting the way for others too. And as we warm ourselves with empathy's flame, another shadow looms. A chillier one, born not from disconnection but from clinging too tight. Let's step into the fifth sign, fear of change. It's a quiet force, whispering that the known is safe, the unknown a threat. But in a world that never sits still, that fear doesn't just hold us back. It buries us. Picture yourself at a crossroads, one path worn and familiar, the other wild and untrodden. The familiar feels like home, soft, predictable, warm. But what if it's a cage? What if staying put means missing the life you're meant to live? I've watched too many souls cling to fading comforts, their hands white-knuckled around yesterday, while tomorrow slips away. Fear of change isn't just caution. It's a thief of possibility. This fear isn't loud, it's sneaky. It dresses up as wisdom. Why risk it? Things are fine as they are. Convinces you that stepping out means falling apart. So you stay, same job, same habits, same rut, even when they don't fit anymore. I knew a guy, Mike, who hated his desk job, the endless gray of it draining his spirit. Friends urged him to chase his dream of opening a bakery, but he'd shake his head. What if I fail? I've got bills. Years passed, and that safe job got outsourced. Mike didn't just lose his paycheck, he lost his chance. Fear kept him stuck, and life moved on without him. That's the irony. Resisting change doesn't stop it. It just leaves you unprepared when it comes. Stoicism flips this on its head. To the Stoics, change isn't a monster. It's a mentor. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." It's a radical idea. The very thing you dread, change, can be your teacher, your forge, your wings. Life's a river, always flowing, and fighting the current only exhausts you. But swim with it, and you find strength you didn't know you had. I think of Anna, a single mom I met at a community center. When her divorce hit, she could have clung to her old life, bitter and scared. Instead, she saw it as a chance. Moved to a new city, started a small craft business. It wasn't easy. Nights were long, doubts loud, but she thrived. Change didn't break her. It built her. Here's the beauty. Change isn't the enemy. It's the heartbeat of growth. That new job you're scared to take? It might unlock talents you've buried. That move you're avoiding? It could lead to friendships that reshape you. Fear of change whispers, "You'll lose everything." Stoicism answers, "You'll gain yourself." It's not about chasing chaos. It's about trusting you're resilient enough to meet it. I felt this once, leaving a steady gig for a leap into the unknown. My stomach knotted, my mind raced. But on the other side, I found purpose I'd never tasted. Change didn't ruin me. It revealed me. So where do you feel that tug? Is there a corner of your life where fear's holding the reins? Maybe it's a relationship that's run its course, a dream you've shelved, a habit you've outgrown. Take a breath. Ask, what's beyond this fear? Not every step has to be giant. Try a new route home, say yes to an odd invite, let go of one old routine. Small shifts crack the shell, letting light in. The Stoics' new life's not static. It's dynamic, a dance of endings and beginnings. Embrace that dance and you don't just survive, you soar. As we rise from the grip of fear, one last shadow waits. A habit so common it hides in plain sight. Next time, we'll unravel the cost of talking more than listening, and how silence might just be the loudest step toward wisdom. Imagine sitting around a campfire, the glow casting shadows on eager faces, stories hanging in the air like stars. One voice rises above the rest, loud, relentless, drowning out the crackle of the flames and the whispers of the night. It's not a conversation anymore. It's a monologue. The others fade, their words unspoken, their light dimmed. That's the sixth sign of a foolish heart, talking more than listening. In my years of watching life's quiet symphony, I've seen how this habit, so easy to slip into, robs us of wisdom, connection, and the chance to grow. We've walked through closed minds, blame, arrogance, cold hearts, and fear. Now, let's sit with this final trait, not to judge, but to uncover the gentle power of silence, and how it can transform us into the people we're meant to be. Talking too much isn't just about volume, it's about presence. It's the person who fills every pause with their own voice, cutting you off mid-sentence, more in love with their thoughts than your truth. They're not there to connect, they're there to perform. You've felt it, haven't you? That frustration when someone barrels through a chat, leaving no room for you to breathe, let alone speak. I've been that person 2 years ago at a friend's dinner. I rambled on about some big idea, oblivious to the glazed eyes around me. Later, one of them pulled me aside and said, "You missed it. Jen was trying to tell us she got the job." I talked right over her joy and it stung. Not because I meant to, but because I didn't stop to hear. That's the cost. When we talk more than we listen, we don't just miss stories, we miss people. Relationships fray, not from conflict, but from absence. The friend who never asks how you're doing, the boss who lectures instead of learning, they're not building bridges, they're burning them. And the loss isn't just theirs, it's ours too. Listening isn't passive. It's a gift. It's saying, "You matter enough for me to hush my noise and hear your soul." When we skip that, we skip the chance to grow. Every voice carries a lesson, a perspective we can't see, a spark we can't ignite alone. Talking over it doesn't make us wise. It keeps us small. Stoicism steps in here with a whisper, not a shout. Marcus Aurelius reflected often on the value of silence, urging us to seek understanding over dominance. "Be silent for the most part," he wrote, "or say only what is necessary and in few words." It's not about muting yourself, it's about making space. Epictetus doubled down. "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason." The Stoics' new wisdom isn't in the sound of your voice, but in the depth of your attention. The person who listens doesn't just hear, they absorb, they connect, they evolve. Think of the wisest souls you've met. They're not the ones yammering on. They're the ones leaning in, eyes alive, drinking in the world. I saw this once in a teacher named Clara who ran a community writing group. She'd sit at the head of the table, quiet as we shared our rough drafts. When someone stumbled, she didn't jump in with fixes. She asked, "What were you feeling here?" Her silence drew out our best, not because she had all the answers, but because she let us find ours. Over time, that group didn't just write better, we bonded deeper. Clara's listening built a space where trust bloomed, where ideas danced. Contrast that with the guy who'd interrupt every line with his expert take. He didn't teach, he preached, and we tuned him out. Listening isn't weakness, it's the root of strength. So, where do you land? Do you ever catch yourself filling the air, too eager to shine to let others glow? I still do sometimes. Mid-conversation, I'll feel that itch to jump in, to prove my point. But I've learned to pause, to breathe, to ask, am I hearing this person, or just waiting my turn? That shift changes everything. Try it. Next time you're with someone, let them finish. Really hear them. Their tone, their hesitations, their heart. You'll be amazed what you learn. Not just about them, but about yourself. Listening doesn't dim your light. It reflects it wider, brighter, truer. That's the Stoic secret. Silence isn't empty. It's full. Full of respect, full of possibility, full of the wisdom that comes when you let the world speak. When you talk less and listen more, you don't just build relationships, you build a life. A life where people feel seen, where you grow beyond your edges, where every quiet moment hums with meaning. It's not about shutting up, it's about opening up. And in that openness, you find the kind of strength that lasts. Here we stand, at the end of a journey through 6 shadows. 6 signs that mark a foolish heart, not to condemn, but to guide us home. We've faced the fortress of a closed mind, rigid and unyielding, and found the freedom of curiosity. We've unshackled ourselves from constant blaming, trading excuses for ownership. We've toppled the brittle throne of arrogance, choosing humility's steady ground. We've warmed the chill of a heart without empathy, weaving connection where isolation once reigned. We've stepped through the fear of change, seeing it not as a threat but a teacher. And now we've quieted the noise of talking too much, discovering the power of listening. Each step hasn't just revealed what holds us back. It's shown us what lifts us up. These signs aren't a checklist to judge others. They're a mirror for ourselves. In my years of living, loving, stumbling, and rising, I've seen how easy it is to slip into these traps. But I've also seen the beauty of breaking free. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Stoicism doesn't demand we're flawless. It asks us to be present, to grow, to live with purpose. Together, these lessons form a tapestry. A life woven with openness, responsibility, humility, empathy, courage, and attention. That's not just wisdom. It's a way to thrive, to light up the messy, marvelous world we share. So, how do we carry this into today's chaos? The buzzing phones, the endless to-dos, the noise of a world that never sleeps? Start small, but start now. Open your mind by asking one new question each day. What don't I know here? Take responsibility by owning one mistake this week, however tiny, and watch trust bloom. Practice humility by letting someone else shine, even when you could steal the spotlight. Build empathy by pausing to feel what a friend feels, not just fix it. Embrace change with one brave yes. A new habit, a bold step, and see where it leads. And listen, really listen, to one person today, phone down, heart open. These aren't grand gestures. They're quiet revolutions, the kind that reshape you from the inside out. You've walked this path with me, and I'm honored to have you here at ZenLight8. If these words stirred something in you, hit that subscribe button. We're just getting started on this journey to wisdom and purpose. Drop a comment below with "Choose Growth" to show you're in, ready to shed these shadows and step into your light. Let's keep learning, growing, and living together one mindful moment at a time. See you in the next video.